What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful 24 official channel. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button today. Let's get started. Will is horrified when Luna tells Sheila about her night out, and Luna brags about it. Luna is taught the riot act by Lee and Sheila. Deacon lies to Will, and Electra tells her boyfriend the truth. Will grimaces with a headache from a hangover as he wakes up in Deacon's empty apartment and wonders where Electra is. Will, dazed, yells out for Electra and flashes back to the night before. Will remembers being with his girlfriend at the party and Deacon bringing him up to the room as he gets dressed. Just at that moment, Deacon, who is used to having hangovers, arrives with food and tells Will that it was a party he'll never forget. Despite the fact that some details are hazy, Will smiles and acknowledges that it was an unforgettable night. Ivy gushes about the bright future she hopes to share with Will Spencer while she is in Forrester's design office. She is impressed by Electra's most recent piece of jewelry. Ivy observes that Will is not yet present when the big party is discussed. Electra acknowledges not receiving a response to her text last night. They are certain that he is drunk, but he will feel better tonight. Electra exclaims that it will be perfect and that Will doesn't want anyone else but her, having no idea that Will already believes they have shared their first time together. Is Luna going to regret it? She questions Luna about where she went last night at Lee's house. Luna flashes to over-serving Will and then raping him with a grin. When Sheila arrives, she also gives her granddaughter a hard time. You can't just vanish. Where were you the night before? Luna gives a cat that ate the canary smile. Luna says she went for a walk while he rants about how she could return to jail. Luna insists that she is in control of everything. Lee's side is taken by Sheila as they keep warning her. Luna is appreciative of Lee contacting an attorney on her behalf, but she has her own strategy. Sheila and Lee ask her to be honest by closing their eyes. Luna sneers that if Lee raised her father in this manner, it makes sense why he enjoys Steffi's control. Lee storms out after realizing that he came out much better than she did. Sheila presses her granddaughter for the truth. Luna admits that she saw a special person last night. Sheila makes a guess for Finn, then for Will Spencer. Luna acknowledges that she served Will drinks when she discovered Will at his party. Sheila establishes that he didn't recognize her. Luna exclaims that she is happier than ever. She had the best night of her life last night. Sheila expects her to provide the specifics. Luna claims that she provided Will with exactly what he desired, something that Electra Forrester Miss Prissy will never provide him with. Luna and Sheila laugh out loud. Electra continues to discuss Will's willingness to wait for her with Ivy at Forrester. She is looking forward to tonight now. She gives Will a hug when he comes in. He admits he had a hangover, but it went away when he thought about Electra and last night. Will and Electra kiss after Ivy provides them with privacy. He tells her that last night was fantastic. He is speechless at how it came to an end. We had a big night that night. Will mentions Electra's return, and she jokes that he must have been extremely drunk because she didn't come back. Will's horrified expression during their embrace says it all. Will Spencer, played by Crew Morrow. When Will Spencer first entered Forrester Creations to see his mother, Katie Logan, he literally swept Electra Forrester off her feet. She may have been dazed when they collided, but a fleeting smile from Crew Morrow made everything okay. He also won over his supporters at that point. Since then, Morrow's storylines have been somewhat limited, although there have been quite a few moments of him showing his comedic timing. When Will Spencer opened up about how close he was to losing Liam, he was able to branch out. Morrow, on the other hand, was the focus of attention this week. He had to play a young man who was in love, had just been promoted, and was the guest of honor at a party to celebrate his professional development. It is difficult to accurately portray someone who is intoxicated without coming across as corny or fake. However, Morrow was able to make it work by speaking with just the right amount of slur, walking with a stumble, and overall demeanor. He had everyone on his toes the day after the party, from the man with a confused hangover to the one with his face lighting up as his memories served. Combine that with a sex scene, and he was certain to have everyone on his toes. Will, a young man in love who thought he had just taken his relationship with Electra to the next level, sauntered into the office once more with a mix of boyish charm and confidence, only to find out that he and Electra had not made love at all. In that instant, 1,000 thoughts hit him like a ton of bricks. Morrow's eyes got wider, his mouth looked like someone who wanted to scream, but the nightmare stopped him from doing so. His face was pale. His expression was unmistakable as the sheer horror of realizing he had sex with someone without knowing who. Will Spencer's world began unraveling the moment he woke up with that brutal hangover in Deacon Sharp's empty apartment. His head pounding like a drum as fragments of the previous night flashed through his mind in agonizing, disjointed pieces, the fog of alcohol blurring what should have been a crystal-clear milestone memory in his young life. Groaning, he rubbed his temples, called out hoarsely for Electra Forrester, his girlfriend, convinced she had been with him, convinced they had finally crossed that boundary that had been building between them for months, and when she didn't answer, the pit in his stomach deepened with dread, because what he saw in flashes was Electra at the party, the laughter, the dancing, her eyes shining with affection, and then the blur of Deacon hauling him upstairs while he struggled to stay on his feet, Deacon muttering something about needing to lie down and sleep it off, and when he finally looked around the small, too-clean apartment now stripped of her presence, Will's heart raced with confusion and fear. Just then the door opened and Deacon breezed in like nothing was wrong, tossing a greasy bag of food on the counter, a smirk tugging his lips as he announced that it had been one hell of a night, a party Will would never forget, though Will could barely remember half of it. His stomach twisting as Deacon casually lied and deflected, insisting everything had been fine, that Will had simply gotten drunk, slept it off, and should move on. Yet Will's instincts whispered that something wasn't right, that there was more to last night than Deacon was admitting, though with his head throbbing, he forced himself to smile, nod, and pretend he believed it, telling Deacon hazily that yes, it had been unforgettable, even if that word sent a shiver of unease down his spine. Ivy chuckled knowingly, suggesting that he was probably too drunk to type straight but would surely come around tonight, refreshed and ready to make the evening perfect, while Electra sighed happily, declaring with certainty that Will wanted no one but her, completely oblivious to the horrifying truth that Will already believed their first time together had already occurred the night before. Meanwhile, across town at Forrester Creations, Ivy Forrester's bubbly enthusiasm filled the design office as she but the storm clouds were gathering elsewhere. At Lee Finnegan's house, where Luna Nozawa was confronted by her aunt, Lee's stern eyes narrowing as she demanded to know where Luna had been the previous night, why she had disappeared without explanation, and Luna, with that wicked cat that ate the canary grin, flashed back to pouring Will drink after drink, deliberately over-serving him, until his world spun and he could barely string together a sentence, before taking advantage of him in the most vile way imaginable, and though she kept that memory locked behind her sly smile, she offered only a coy excuse that she had gone for a walk, shrugging off Lee's sharp rebuke about irresponsibility, parole, and the very real possibility of being sent back to jail if she kept up this reckless behavior. Lee's lecture was quickly joined by Sheila Carter's gravelly voice as she swept into the room, equally furious at her granddaughter for vanishing without a word, demanding answers, accusing Luna of acting out of control, yet Luna only smirked, insisting she was in charge of everything, thanking Lee for contacting an attorney on her behalf while slyly hinting she didn't need anyone's protection because she had her own plan, her own strategy, a confidence that unnerved both women. Sheila pressed harder, leaning in with that familiar intensity, demanding to know who Luna had been with, who this special person was she kept referring to, first guessing Finn and then, with dawning suspicion, suggesting Will Spencer. Luna, unable to resist the dramatic reveal, finally admitted with a giddy laugh that it had been Will, that she had found him at his party, plied him with drinks until he was helpless, and then given him exactly what he wanted. Exactly. Electra, on the other hand, continued in blissful ignorance back at Forrester as she spoke tenderly with Ivy about how patient Will had been with her, how much it meant to him that he was willing to wait for her, and how she was convinced that tonight would finally be the night they would take that next step together. Just then Will arrived, still pale from his hangover but forcing a smile, his eyes lighting up at the sight of Electra, the very girl he believed he had. Will, still riding the false high of his distorted memory, gazed at Electra with boyish sincerity, telling her last night had been fantastic, that he could barely find the words to describe how it ended, that it had been a big night, their night. But when he mentioned her return to him in the room, and she laughed lightly, teasing him that he must have been blackout drunk because she hadn't come back at all, the world seemed to tilt beneath his feet. His face drained of color, his eyes widened with dawning horror, his lips parted as if to scream but no sound emerged, because in that instant every assumption, every comforting belief shattered like glass, and he realized with a sickening weight that he had not been with Electra at all, that his body had been taken without consent by someone else, that the person smiling at him now, so full of love and hope, had no idea of the nightmare he had woken into, and the performance by Crew Morrow as Will captured every ounce of that devastation, his expression twisting from joy to anguish, from affection to revulsion, a man suddenly lost in a labyrinth of betrayal and confusion, torn between his desire to shield Electra from the truth and his desperate need to confront the horror of what had really happened. This was the turning point in Will's story. While Luna sat smugly across town, bragging to Sheila about her conquest and laughing as if she had won some twisted game, Will's heart broke silently in the arms of the woman he truly loved. The weight of a secret that was too terrible to bear crashing down on him like a ton of bricks, setting the stage for a reckoning that would shake not only Will and Electra to the core.